Wine25 is partially funded by Albarello Luxury Hand Soap for wine enthusiasts. Please go to www.albarellosoap.com for fresh soap, no additives, and straight to your door. Albarello Luxury Hand Soap. Experience the wine, not the soap.
It's not 5 o'clock, and they don't care. Welcome to Wine to 5. Entertainment, education, and everyday drinking for everyday people. Your hosts are Valerie Caruso and Stephanie Davis, two wine educators who don't need a clock to know when to pour that next glass.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 71 of Wine to 5. I'm back in the FOCO after our wine-tastic trip to wine camp in Washington, D.C. last week.
And I'm back in the Springs in the middle of a hailstorm right now. As you can hear, you might hear some thunder later, but that's okay. It's all part of the package. And I kind of schlumped in last night, still kind of letting everything settle after a whirlwind week. I washed off all the airplane juice, unpacked, and I'm ready to go.
Well, Val, welcome back. And before we get carried away with all of the flashbacks from conference, let's chat about what we're drinking right now. It's like, day 2 post-wine camp drinks.
Yeah, I just grabbed a bottle out of my wine chiller because John made a curried chicken salad, and he had it waiting for me when I got home last night.
Wow, that's awesome.
He's so sweet. So I had this sitting here. It's another Gill Family Estates wine. I mean, do they make a bad wine? I don't think so. This is an Oro Wines Albarino. It's called Kentia. It's a 2014 from Galicia, which is in the northwest green Spain area. The region is called Rías Baixas. It's got some really good fruits, got some tropical thing going on, little peaches, tangerines, and that salinity that I love. The acid's pretty killer, but yet beautifully balanced. And it's in terms of intensity and body, awesome food, wine, and it's, oh, by the way, a $10 to $20 bottle.
$10 to $12.
I'm sorry, $10 to $12. Oh, yeah, have some more wine, Val. No, see this? Look how beautiful. I don't know if you can see.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that is nice.
Little screw top and...
kind of cute.
It's a beautiful Albarino.
Pretty label, yeah.
And Albarino's the grape, guys. I think we may have talked about it before, but if not, it's a white wine and lovely for summer. And a hailstorm.
Well, I love the way that you described it. Yes, the summer hailstorm wine.
Yes. What do you got, Steph?
Well, I'm attempting to be a mixologist today, and I really am just doing this for our listeners, really. But my neighbor, Doreen, brought over her pickled peaches brine last night. So she makes these pickled peaches that are so good, and I was using it like to make these crostinis before with like little ricotta and some like little savory spicy bits and this peaches that are pickled, and they're so good. So she made some more, but she came over and had all this extra brine, and I thought, what am I going to do with that? And she said, oh, you could put some other other fruits in the brine and make some more pickled things.
Oh.
And then I felt this hashtag W25 challenge kind of like wash over me, and I was wondering if Doreen's brine is similar to a shrub. And so, I don't know how many people are familiar with shrubs, but it's essentially a drinking vinegar, and it's kind of a hip thing right now. And my, mixology idea at first was to mix it with brandy. And I even said to Doreen, I might drink this on the show tomorrow with some brandy. And she's like, ooh, that sounds so good. And then I thought, wait a second. We have this huge inventory of bourbon. So I Googled... peach shrub with bourbon, and oh my god, this is so good. Like, it has mint from my garden in it, and a little bit of fresh lime juice, the peach shrub, this really good bourbon that we got from my brother-in-law, the Woodinville Whiskey Bourbon. Check it.
Oh, yeah. That's Washington State.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I totally think our buddy Juliet Miranda from Unwritable Rant would be so proud of me. And proud of the drink, of course, too, because it's got bourbon in it.
So what she would say would be, cheers, y'all.
Cheers, y'all.
I love her.
And when I was Googling, I did come across the saltandwind.com site, and they had a recipe that was called bourbon peach smash. And so that this recipe was inspired. My attempt at my own little wine25 spin was inspired by the saltandwind.com website. So
very nice.
check it out. We'll have the links in the show if you want to see how to make it and how to make your own shrub. It's all in the recipe. So yeah, it's so good. It's like really good, especially for people who like what is the drink that's for Kentucky Derbies?
Oh, the mint julep.
The mint julep. Thank you. It's kind of like that, but maybe better.
Yeah, I'm not. I have to tell you, I was not a fan of them when I was there for the bourbon conference.
Oh,
no.
Sweet, maybe.
I think, it just wasn't. And I would think I would love it because we have mint in our garden, we have bourbon and whatever. But what they did have at the Brown Hotel in Louisville, Kentucky, was something called the Ali Smash, which is the home of Muhammad Ali, and that was phenomenal. That was their drink.
Oh,
that is the drink you get at the Brown Hotel. But I wasn't loving any of the mint juleps that I had.
Oh, that's terrible.
I know, it's my thing because I love all the things that are in it.
Right.
Yeah,
it's just maybe too much simple syrup. But when it's too sweet, I really don't like it. This one is good because it has, it's got the vinegar in it. So it's got the sour.
And I love vinegar.
It's really good. All right, we should get into the conference recap.
Let's do it.
So, Val, tell me, what were your top 3 favorite seminars?
I was thinking about this, and maybe we were talking about it a little over breakfast the other day, but I really am having a hard time picking a favorite. Mm-hmm. So each one had its own something special in terms of presenter or wines or even unusual beverages about which I knew virtually nothing. So for, I think, presenter and wines, the first ones that come into my head was the Single Vineyard Estates of Spain with Nora Favalucas. Okay. She did an outstanding job, and we had a beautiful, beautiful cava in there. I mean, beautiful wines, and just understanding the Single Vineyard Estates, and something we talked about on the podcast a while back, the new cava category there.
Right. Now, and I didn't go to that seminar, so I'm glad that you got to go.
Oh. Man, she's an outstanding presenter, and I knew she'd presented on Chile and or Argentina in Seattle, but I've never attended any of her workshops, and she's fantastic, and just loved her presentation and the wine. But also, you move next door to Portugal, and Tanya from Soja Vinos did the Colheita Port class.
Oh my God, that was one of my top 3.
I think not just because there was a 1966 Colheita Port, and for those of you that may not know it, that was like the most rockin' year of all time.
That's Val's year.
That was my year. That was the year I was born. And that was the first wine I got to drink that was made in my birth year.
Oh.
So that was pretty special, but her energy, adorable, and she had these videos of these people in Portugal, and apparently the hot people. There are no ugly people in Portugal, apparently, because everybody in this video was, gorgeous, and we were just, sipping this vintage, or this Colheita Port, which means it was produced in a single year, and it was truly an experience for the senses.
I think, that class for me, too, it was the coming together of all of the perfect things for a wine tasting seminar, because you have a great presenter,
yes,
with great audio-visual material,
yep,
fantastic, hard to find, expensive, complex wines, right? That you're learning something about it because you've never tasted it before,
right?
And it was an appropriate length of time,
yep.
And the whole time you're paying attention, you're smiling, you're enjoying, and you're learning. It really was the best of everything.
Yeah, and all your senses were engaged.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I really loved about it. And when they say all your 5 senses are engaged, that's when you're having the most amazing experience.
Yeah.
And that really did it, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. It was one of my favorites, and you and I were sitting together, and we were just both so giddy and happy.
I know. It was a really good seminar, and of course, then there are the unusual beverages, and that I would say for me goes to the Akavit.
Yep.
With Krister Olsen. I love the champagne and the cava workshops too. Like I said, I guess that's what people mean when they say you can't have a favorite child.
Yeah.
And I still think I'd be the worst mom ever. But I really, really love the Akavit seminar as well. Just tasting something, again, that I knew virtually nothing about. Oh, it's made with caraway.
Yeah, when I mentioned it on the show last year, coming back from Sweden and Norway, it was so funny because you were like, tell me more about Aquavit. And I was stumped because not only did I not taste any when I was over there, I really didn't have a good baseline knowledge of the spirit itself. And so we kind of poked around on the internet just to sort of get an idea for our listeners. But it was so timely, I think, that you and I got to be in an aquavit class a year after my Sweden trip and really learn from someone who's from Norway. That made it even, I don't know, more special, I think. And we had 8 aquavits, and 5 of them are not even available in the U.S. And so I think I was most impressed with the story of like the Linny brand that literally like gets on a boat and travels around.
Yeah, it's like they just float their barrels around the world, and
it just cracks me up. So yeah, I totally loved that. And Krister was so cute and entertained me when I was asking him about whale carpaccio. He was like, "What? I've never had whale carpaccio."
And if you guys don't know what we're talking about, you have to go back to, I believe it was episode 18.
Yeah,
I believe when we talked about it, I think whale carpaccio and some other silliness. It's like,
it is silly.
Apparently you guys hated that episode. I don't know, but you're going to have to go back and listen to it and figure out why.
Yes.
It was an interesting question. It had the whole class laughing about which one would you pair with smoked whale carpaccio? But at least you didn't say smoked whale testicles.
No, I didn't. And I thought about it, though. I was thinking about our homies over there at We Like Drinking. And, we have to give them a shout out because they did give us a shout out on their last episode. So,
oh, my God. They gave me so much crap. So much crap on that last episode. I'm just like, really, guys? Really? But no, we love them, and we love playing with them. And if you don't know what smoked whale testicles is about, well, please check out We Like Drinking because you will laugh and you may just fall off your treadmill.
That's right. I mean, they were thinking about us when we were in DC, and when we were in DC, we were thinking about their smoked whale testicles.
So should we move on and talk about your favorite seminars?
Yes. Well, we already mentioned 2 of my favorites, but I have to mention one of the classes that I went to. Val didn't attend this one. She was probably in one of her favorite classes. But because there was 13 seminars to go to overall, that's why we're having a hard time telling everybody which ones were our favorites. But so on the first day, I went to one that was called Think Like a Grapevine, and it was presented by the general manager of Frog's Leap Winery. This guy is so hilarious, so energetic, dynamic, and I could not believe how he could present some really boring scientific grape growing viticulture that I usually don't actually find that interesting. Okay, this is Steph. I know you do.
Like rootstock and vine training methods and vertical shoot positioning
and irrigation and some or other stuff where it's like, that's not really sexy and it's not really fun. He made it so fun. I mean, my notes on it, it's just like, how is this guy making this fun when it's really usually such boring material like science class, stuff. And I loved him so much. And he even like had a disclaimer at the beginning of the class saying he was going to use inappropriate language and he might really offend some people.
Awesome. I should have gone to that one.
Oh my God. And he just puts it out there, and sure enough, he delivered with all of his comments in inappropriate language. Yes. It was really great. And of course, the wines were amazing. I mean, we had a vertical of some gorgeous wines, and what was cool is he was explaining how we were having wines that weren't in good years, they weren't great vintages or anything like that, but he was proving to us that how you take care of your vineyard and your winemaking, you can have great wine in an off year. He really proved that. He made me really think a lot about how people are growing and irrigating and what they're doing organically or not. And so I think that he did a great job for sure. Loved that. So, and so many other ones. I think, you know what? I do want to give a shout out to the Champagne seminar with Mark Rashep.
Oh my God, yes.
Amazing. That was such a great way to start your morning.
Again, that was an awesome one too, but we should probably move on. You had a master class on Cognac, correct?
Right. That was one of the pre-conference classes.
So we thought we would tie that in with our factoid today. And
yeah.
Steph proposed the idea, and so I turned around and went back to my diploma notes and bam, inserted a chart. Now, we aren't going to burden you with this chart today. We're not going to read the whole thing, but we thought it would be really cool because a lot of people don't know what the difference is between Cognac and Armagnac. So maybe let's hit on a couple points here. Like, first of all, where they are.
Right. So, yeah, in reference to Bordeaux, because a lot of people know where Bordeaux is, it's cool to kind of have a visual map and geography of where we're talking about. So, Cognac is north of Bordeaux, kind of north and west, and then Armagnac is south and east. So, they're totally two different areas, even though they both produce brandy.
That's right. In fact, the more southern one, as you can imagine, is a little bit warmer. And what also is different about the two are the permitted grapes. I have, and there are different sources, but the official ones that I had when I took my exam on spirits last year were that for Cognac, the main grapes you're going to see are Uni Blanc, Fol Blanche, and Colombard. They also allow actually 6 main grapes, so they actually allow another 3. But there are also some sources that mention like Meslier, Saint-François, Jean Blanc, and a bunch of other ones. And they say combined with Folognon can comprise 10% of the blend. But yeah, who cares? But you know, you're going to mostly see those first 3, Uni Blanc, Fol Blanche, and Colombard. Where with the Armagnac, you're going to mostly see the Uni Blanc, Baco 22A, and the Fol Blanche, and then the Colombard in there as well. Just a little slightly different blend in the grapes.
Yeah, and in the class that I took, they emphasized that Cognac really sticks to the Uni Blanc, and it's about 98% of all Cognacs use Uni Blanc.
That's correct.
The Armagnac can have a different taste profile because they don't use, it's not 98% Uni Blanc. They really do include a lot of the other grapes that were just mentioned, and so that creates a different brandy.
Right. They're going to have more floral in the base wine. So what they do is they make a base wine from these grapes, okay, and like Steph said, 98% of the plantings are Blanc and Cognac. But down in Armagnac, you're going to have the Fol Blanche is going to bring a little bit more floral to the wine and might have a little bit more earthy notes from the Baco. Also, remember I said it had a warmer climate, so you're going to have a higher alcohol base wine as well with a little bit lower acidity, where the other one's going to have maybe an 8 to 10% alcohol by volume with maybe a little higher acidity because it's a cooler region. But then what do they do with that base wine, Steph?
Well, this is one of the big differences between the two. So, and to keep it really short, Cognac gets distilled twice and Armagnac gets distilled once. That's the big difference. Yeah, there's some grape differences and some location stuff, but a lot of it has to do with how they distill it. And so the Armagnac, the way I used to always explain it was that it's kind of more like wine because it's not distilled as much. And it does have a reputation of being called more rustic. I don't know that like any of the ones that I've had, I would say is rustic. I mean, they're still a premium spirit that's very beautiful. So I don't know about the word rustic. I guess that's, subjective. But yeah, that's the biggest thing. So the pot stills, twice distilled for Cognac, and then column stills once. One distillation for Armagnac.
As Steph said, they are distilled in different kinds of stills generally, but the Armagnac, they tend to have a lower strength spirit coming off the still, which is anywhere from 52 to 72.4%. Now, what happens as a result of that lower strength is you're going to get more aromatics. All the character hasn't been distilled out. So I think that's why we like Armagnac so much, is there's so much character. Not that Cognac doesn't have it. We love Cognac too. But it's just, again, it's a different thing.
I hate to say that it's more complex, but the taste profile is just a little bit different with more nuts and earth, and it still has citrus and floral notes just like Cognac. But I've got to admit, though, as much as I always have said I like Armagnac better, there were some stunning Cognacs in the class, and we were doing a lot of side-by-side where Hoke had purposefully presented us with an Armagnac that was similar to another Cognac, so we could decide between two very similar products. And we had, a set of these pairings, and a few times I've chose the Cognac over the Armagnac.
And that's really cool that he was able to do that.
Yeah, so that was really great. So that's mostly the major differences. One other thing I would like to point out is just the production. So volume-wise, why you're going to see so much more Cognac is that there's about 160 million bottles of Cognac produced versus 6 million of Armagnac.
Wow.
See the difference? Yeah. That's why you don't see it as much.
That's right. And there, there's a lot more too as far as the resulting styles and the different aging requirements, but we're not going to go into all that because we are a shorter podcast. But we thought you may appreciate at least a little baseline difference between Cognac and Armagnac, because a lot of people don't know.
Yeah, and it starts off with it's brandy, and then beyond that, you get to really learn a little bit more about what's the difference.
I should link up the Armagnac Man videos.
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So we'll put that in there, too. I'm going to make a note here while Steph goes on with Wino Radar.
Yeah, so Wino Radar. If you are going to New Zealand in September, we should tell you that the New Zealand Food and Wine event is happening, and that is September 10th through the 12th, and at, where else? The New Zealand School of Food and Wine.
Yeah.
So we will have a little bit more about that school and the owner, Celia Hay, in a future episode.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We can give you a little bit of audio there. Got about a minute and a half of her telling you about the event, but we'll go ahead and link it up.
Each year we have about 25 New Zealand wineries presenting different wines. They're all interesting, quirky wineries offering boutique wines that you often don't see easily. And then we'll have a themed wine. This year our wine presentation is from Spain, so we've got some Spanish wines. But we also do cookery classes at our school, so we'll have a hands-on. We've got a Spanish chef coming who's doing a tapas demonstration, and then followed by a dinner. We're doing an American barbecue session. We've got a famous Australian TV chef, his name's Lindy Milan. She's coming to do some, fast and fabulous cooking. We also do something called an urban hangi, which is where hangi is the traditional New Zealand method of cooking food in the ground.
Hungi?
Hangi.
Hangi, hangi.
And and they've developed basically a steaming, rather than doing it on the ground, something for people to do at home, which is more practical, which is a steamed version of it. So we'll be doing some workshops on how to steam your own food.
I think that leads into the next question, right? Because I saw, pictures of that method on your Facebook. Is that right?
Yes, you did.
Okay. So how can people find you?
Well, we have a big Facebook page, so foodandwine.co.nz. Our website, obviously. So people generally are just getting access to us through the web.
But you will be hearing from her fully in a couple of weeks.
And what else, Val?
Okay, so next year's wine camp. You might have seen us blabbing about it on social media, but we are already excited for next year in Portland, Oregon, August 10th through 12th, 2017. Definitely join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. And a couple other book events. I like these book events because they're about wine books. You may remember our guests, Suzanne Hoffman, the author of Labor of Love, Wine Family Women of Piemonte. Well, she's got a couple book events coming up, and they're starting to pop up more and more. So you can go to winefamilies.com and check it out, but there is a new one at the Book Bar in Denver, September 23rd. Also at Rebellion in New Orleans on October 25th. And so I think that's all I have for wine events right now because, I'm wine evented out for a little bit. But
yes.
Shout-outs?
Oh, shout-outs.
Steph?
This is what made the conference so special. We really do have a great group of friends and supporters, and it continues to grow, and we meet new people. But thank you so much to John Govind. He is a superstar Wine25 listener. He lives in San Francisco. We have been hanging out with him for 3 consecutive years now, and he honored us truly with a happy hour of Krug champagne in some beautiful Riedel stems and some of the Sugar Fina Dom Perignon gummy bears that we mentioned on the show. And yeah, he created this entire experience for us based off our podcast.
Right. He said, I know you don't like flutes, so I went and researched and got these wide-mouthed Riedel glasses. And I know you guys talked about the Krug and music experience, so he special ordered, 3 or 4 bottles of Krug, had them sent right to D.C., and then he had the Riedel stems shipped to Target because you can't drink Krug out of, the water glasses in the hotel room. And then he heard us talking about the champagne gummies and ordered he ordered a box for everybody.
Left with like a little gift of Sugar Fina's gummy bears that he had ordered from Saks Fifth Avenue.
And here's the thing. He listens to our podcast and Googles stuff while he's listening
and
to learn more. And if that's what you guys are doing, that's what we can't just give you all the information on the podcast. We'd go on for hours. But if he wants to learn more, he just Googles it while he's listening. And I really honor
I think
that.
It's great. Definitely
so thank
let
you,
us
John.
know if you guys are enjoying the show, because it really feels very rewarding for Val and I. We do this from the bottom of our hearts without any financial support right now. And it is really rewarding to hear that people enjoy the show. So thank you so much, John. We can't thank you enough. We also want to give some props to some other fans of ours, some dedicated listeners. Val and I met Andrew Villarreal. He is in Chicago, and he just loves the show, and he was just like quoting things we've said, and we got to spend a few days with him before he went over to Texom. So Andrew, thank you. High five to you. And it was so wonderful to spend some quality time together. And then Rebecca Fletcher, girl, we can hang with you every day. We love you so much. Thank you for all your support and introducing us to people, and being a part of your world is awesome. So a few more shout outs. I can go on, but the Johnsons and Wales crew and the university, Johnson and Wales University, they support Society of Wine Educators, and I love that it's a great community. They're all friends and colleagues. And so special shout out to Catherine, Sarah, and Bob this week. Iriki Ristorante. We had a lovely dinner there, a table of 8 of us ladies, and Kenya Walker took care of us. What a great server she was. She has a bright future in hospitality, for sure.
Yeah, that's true. And I don't know if any of you have done wine and food service, but a table of 8 women, they're all cringing in the back. You know it. It's like, oh God, here they come. And in trying to deliver the specials and trying to get 8 women to shut up and listen to your specials. Yeah. I mean, so she is talented, and boy, she can just bring a dish to life, make you want that thing right in front of you.
Yeah.
And she delivers. She delivers on the description, and so bright, so friendly, so talented, yet still professional. We were so well taken care of. So, yeah, grazie tanto, Ririki. That was such a great experience.
And we did have a good experience also at the Mayflower Hotel, the Autograph. That's where the conference was held and where we stayed, and they took good care of us there too. So it's fantastic. Historic, beautiful. The rooms were stunning,
It was an incredible experience. And the shout-outs list wouldn't be complete if we didn't give so much love to the Society of Wine Educators. And I know we pimp them a lot. We pimp them a lot on this podcast because that is our organization. This is our wine tribe. This is such an awesome organization. And I don't think anybody realizes what goes on to put on a conference like this, but they freaking kill it every single year, and they killed it again. Put on an incredible conference. Staff, the volunteers, the board members. I mean, so much work behind the scenes going on that most people wouldn't even realize it. And not to mention that there were so many other things going on at the same time, like the Wine Bloggers Conference and TechSom. So getting everybody together during a time like this, all class.
Yeah.
Nothing but class.
I mean, I think when you start to find out what goes into the conference and the business part of it, it's pretty impressive.
It really is. It really is impressive. Really, the volunteers, can't live without them.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, the people that pour the wines, what do they call them, room moms?
Yeah.
It was so cool. But anyway.
Yeah, well, I'm going to throw something else in here because I'm going to give Val a big congratulations because she is now on the Society of Wine Educators board. So congratulations, Val. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much. And now we'll pimp them even harder. So there we go.
So we do have a wrap. I think that's it. So
that's it. Let's do it. Let's
wrap it up. So you can connect with Val on Twitter at WineGalUnboxed and on the Vino with Val Facebook page and on Instagram as Vino with Val. You can connect with me. You can connect me. That's it.
I can connect you, right?
On Twitter at Albarello Soap, and on the Albarello Soap Facebook page, and on YouTube.
And you can visit us on our Wine to Five website, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube, and we finally started unscrewing our Google+. Yeah, we had like 3 pages, not sure why or how. So if you were like following one and it suddenly like disappeared, I think we had an extra YouTube channel out there too, and so we kind of deleted that, and I finally figured out which ones to start publishing content to, and we apologize, but you can easily find us. We'll link up our new pages, and you can't miss it. Steph and I are mugging on the profile page of our Google Plus page. So if you want to build your collection also of wine books and accessories, oh my gosh, check out our online store, also located on our website. And we hope that you will share Wine to Five with your family and your friends and your online community, your wine buddies, because we live for your involvement and your feedback. Otherwise, we're just talking to ourselves, okay? So, yeah, I'm serious. Like, Steph and we do that too. I mean, the pregame show is incredible. Yeah. But leave us a burning wine question. Leave us a comment on SpeakPipe while you're at it. Go out to iTunes and show us some love there in the form of a glowing iTunes review so other wine lovers can discover our fun Wine 25 community. One more thing. Don't forget to use the hashtag W25 challenge when you are trying new wines and drinks. So until next week, cheers.
Thank you for listening to the Wine to Five podcast. Be sure to check us out at Facebook/WineTWO5 and tune in next week for more fun and useful sip tips.